conversation and they're still being negative, hang the phone up. This is your phone. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, get in here. This is for my blueprints. Okay, the ones who are laying the path, laying the way. Okay, these are for the ones who don't know exactly what they're doing, but we doing it anyway. Okay? We out here doing the damn thing and we don't even know what we doing, and yet people are hating. Ain't that something? Well, let me get my notes. I'm out here in the beautiful Yucatan of Mexico, okay? It is not even 7 o'clock and it is almost 80 degrees. Ain't that something? These Ascension symptoms are crazy. I have had headaches for the last, I need to put these back on because this sun is bright. I have had headaches for the last 12 days, and I'm not talking about your regular, like, oh, it's a headache, let me take a pill. I'm talking migraine, severe, and it started off with upper back pain in the neck, like I slept wrong, knowing I didn't, knowing I know how to sleep, right? And before this happened, I was watching videos about, keep in mind, you know, with the moon cycles and the planets going in this direction, you might start feeling some pain in the body, right? So I kind of knew that would happen, but I didn't know it would be to this extreme and last this long. So on top of the moon cycles, the planets, it's also Ascension symptoms, right? And it was odd, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I know I don't need to go to the doctor. I know this is something more spiritual, but how do I fix it? And it's like, dang, I'm used to being in such control, and it's like, I can't be in control of this at all. This is not something that I'm supposed to be in control of. So, but you know what I was in control of? Releasing my emotions. So what I found out was that as I was journaling, my head would start to feel better. The first day I journaled, it was a lot of emotions that were just trapped in my body from past relationships, past traumas that I'm always I'm okay, I'm gonna get through, I'm gonna push on to the next thing, right? But I was never properly dealing with my emotions, you know what I'm saying? Just, I'm always okay, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of us like that, like, I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna just get through, I'm gonna just push through this. But that's not always the proper way to do it. So as I was journaling, I was realizing that I was getting this emotional release, and my neck was starting to feel better and my head was starting to feel better, right? And it's like, okay, this is not medical. This has to definitely be a spiritual thing. This has to be a spiritual aspect. And upon me releasing and journaling my deep frustrations and what I wanted to do with my ex, because he really caused a lot of turmoil, but I just went ahead and just pushed on through. As soon as I got into a space where I could breathe, my body was like, okay, now you need to deal with these emotions, right? You need to deal with all of this energy that you've kept in your body that you've suppressed. And it's like, we tend to forget that we have these emotions deep down in our subconscious. We might think that we dealt with them, but then as time goes on, as we get out of a survival mode, our body will tell us, like, no, you still got healing you got to do. So sometimes you have to deal with that healing. And upon that, right after I had journaled, a crying baby running down the street. As soon as I released those emotions, there was a baby who was crying with anguish, releasing their emotions. Like, imagine the symbolism. It was just divine alignment. Like, as soon as I finished, within 10 seconds, a baby is crying, running down the street. Of course, the mom was there, but she was probably like 10 steps behind on the phone, nonchalant, right? Ooh, I had these headaches and I realized they were coming about every 6 hours. So I had about 6 hours to do what I need to do before I started feeling horrible. It's crazy. And so it was like day 12 and I'm over it. It's yesterday. Yesterday I woke up in the middle of the night. It's like 2 a.m. I text my mom and another friend who are very holistic. And I'm like, what is natural for migraines, right? Because everybody was like, you know, sometimes sometimes you got to know when to shut up. Sometimes you got to know when and when you can't tell somebody, because not everybody's going to understand your path. If you're telling people that you have a migraine and they're severe, but they're emotional, it's emotion stuck in your body. Not everybody's going to understand that, right? So you got to know who to talk to. You got to know where to put your energy at. You know what I'm saying? You got to know where to spread your energy. So if some people are saying certain things, just agree with them and keep it moving, right? Don't waste your energy on that. Don't waste your energy on them trying to explain, because either they gonna get it, either they get it now, or they just don't. So explain to certain people who are within the realm of the universe energy, knowing certain things like that. You can explain that to them and it'll make sense to them. So people were telling me, go to the doctor, different things like that, take medicine. One, I didn't really have an appetite, so I'm not going to be taking medicine. Two, I don't really like doctors, so I'm not really going to the doctor. I'm very stubborn when it comes to my holistic health. You know what I'm saying? Doctors, if it's very extreme, yes, I'll go. And these headaches were extreme, but I know there was a holistic way, and I know there was really nothing I can do. Because if you're journaling and you're starting to feel better, that's not a medical symptom. It's not medical. So why would I go to the doctor? But sitting here and explaining that to your parents, or just different people who just wouldn't understand. It is what it is. So, but I was to a point where I was just over it. Like, I can't take this anymore. I can't take these headaches. I can't. So it was the middle of the night. Woke up from going to sleep probably around like 7 and 6 or 7. It doesn't matter. My sleep pattern has been off. And asked about it, woke up to a text from my mom talking about magnesium oxide. So later on found out I could get any magnesium, but I went to let me stop lying. I went to 4 different stores, right? I went to 2 different pharmacies and 2 different grocery stores looking for magnesium oxide. And down here, they just don't have it in the stores. You have to get it online. So right before I had asked my friend to order it for me, she was in the process of about putting in my address and she was going to order it for me. My mom hit me up and I had got a text saying, wait, it could be any magnesium. So I stopped her from getting that. And that day, yesterday, I didn't have a headache at all. That was the first day in 12 days that I didn't have no headache at all. And I was like, okay, I'll probably get it later, because I was so used to after 12 days having these symptoms, right? I'm so used to having these symptoms after 12 days. Like, I know that's going to come after about 6 hours. I'm going to take me a nap. I'll probably wake up and then walk to the store and get some. It never came. So it's like the day that I felt like I had a solution that I could beat this, I didn't even need it anymore. So I just felt like that's what's really crazy, right? I kept going through this, so I started to realize there was a cycle. And I was sleeping these past 2 weeks. I've been sleeping more than I've been awake. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the astros more than I've been up. And it's like my body is telling me it's okay to rest. And I've had to realize, like, things will still happen. With me being an Aquarius, and a lot of us, we like to be in control. We like to make things happen. We like to take the steps, you know what I'm saying? And we feel like if we're resting, nothing is really going to happen. But it's quite the opposite, because within that rest, within that release, within that ease, you know what I'm saying? We don't always have to keep pushing. We don't always have to keep hustling. We don't always have to keep striving. You know what I'm saying? Within that rest, within that ease, things come to us. Downloads come to us. You know what I'm saying? People are speaking of us in other rooms. Things are happening that are beyond our control anyway. So within that rest, things can happen, right? And a lot of times we're like, what? Rest, especially with the economy right now. Like, who even has time to rest? A lot of times we don't even schedule in rest. We schedule in everything but rest. And for me, I feel like living in the tropics, I have a lot of time for rest, but my body was like, you need even more rest. So I guess over the years, just built up energy and not resting and always thinking for others, I definitely needed to rest. And you'll see these synchronicities throughout your life, right? You'll see other people who are on similar paths. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I called my friend and I was just like, hey, how are you doing? She's also an Aquarius too. And I was just like, hey, how you doing? She was like, yeah, for about 12. She's like, I've been back since about the 16th, and my symptoms started around the 17th. She's like, since the 16th, I've had, she has medical problems, and she's like, I've had like a flare up, and it's been the worst it's been in a long time. And, just due to different things. I don't want to get into her business, right? But it's just like, wow, just the similarities that we're going through. And I was able to shed light on and tell her my revelations of, it's okay to rest, right? It's okay to rest. Things get done when we rest because we're so used to being in control and making sure we get things done and making sure things happen. Because in our cases, we're the only ones that get things done, right? So the universe is sitting here telling us like, hey, it's okay. You don't want to rest, but I'm gonna make you rest. And that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you don't want to do certain things, but the universe, God is gonna put you in certain situations to where you're like, you're gonna have to trust me. That's just that. And within those moments of rest is when you get revelations. Rest and revelations, right? So you don't have to feel guilty for resting. You know what I'm saying? Some of you guys have kids, have spouses, and you need to place your boundaries. You need to set your boundaries and be like, hey, look, I gotta rest. I gotta choose me. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not at your best, how are you going to help others? If you don't have that overflow, you're not supposed to give from a half empty glass. You're not supposed to give from a glass that is empty. How can you give from a glass that's empty? You're supposed to give from your overflow. So you have to put and nurture yourself first, and then whatever you have left over, then you give to others, right? So you may have those friends who are always calling you, trying to trauma dump, trying to call you with gossip here and there. Let them know, or just hang up. Say you lost connection. Say whatever. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're not getting the hint. If you're trying to change the conversation and they're still being negative, hang the phone up. This is your phone. You know what I'm saying? You can say whatever it was, lie, whatever it is to keep the peace for you. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to sit here and take on other people's traumas, other people's problems, because they're not your own. They got to figure it out for themselves. Who figures out your problems? You. You know what I'm saying? So when people come to you and they're trying to have you figure out their problems, you don't have to. You don't have to do that unless they're your kids. But even still, you should instill critical thinking within them and tell them to come up with 3 different solutions, and then you can help them choose the best solution. You know what I'm saying? Do that for grown adults too. There's a lot of grown adults who just don't think. I think thinking is an art, and I feel like I do that for a lot of people, and that's why I get paid to think, speaking that into existence, because that is just one thing that I always get, oh, that's a good idea. That I never thought of it like that. And it's like, my perspective is definitely needed, because I just feel like a lot of people think like this. I feel like the way I think is common sense, and a lot of people just don't think like this, and it's crazy. I really think that's crazy. But it just goes to show that the wind's blowing. I love that. Thank you, wind. It just goes to show that you have to take care of yourself. Even when you think you're taking care of yourself, you're not lashing out. You're reacting as an adult should react, and different things like that. You still have to have an emotional release at some point. Even sometimes journaling is not enough, but it's what you can get through. It's what you can do in the now. But sometimes you have to let that anger out. You have to let that frustration out. You know what I'm saying? You have to let it out in any way that you can. Don't let it out on people. That's where people go wrong. They let their frustrations out on other people. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're deserving, then by all means, release all your anger out on them. Be their karma for that day. You know what I'm saying? Some people need that. But for the most part, I know that if I get my anger out, I might be going to jail. I will be going to. If I get my anger out and I do it the way that I want to do it, I'm going to jail. So that's why I keep my calm, because I have some pretty heinous thoughts and pretty heinous actions when I am provoked. So that's why I just keep calm and I usually just laugh things off. But not everything is, you should laugh it off. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy is, well, I think that's another video for another day. But, you know, I don't know if there was really a point to this video. Well, there is. But the point is, right, to release your emotions, release that energy, because it's going to build up in your body, especially for women. We have a lot of chronic illnesses due to us not releasing our emotions. And it could get very, very dangerous. It could come up into a heart attack, migraines, aneurysms, ulcers, just anything, because we are suppressing ourselves. And with the patriarchy and a lot of religions, it is encouraged for us to suppress ourselves when we're the creators, right? We're the ones who set things in motion. We give life, we nurture homes. We're the natural creators, right? A man built the building, but who built the fire escape? Who imagined the fire escape? You can have these tall buildings, but men weren't thinking about, what if there's a fire? That was a woman, right? You know what I'm saying? So women, everything we touch, if you're intentional and you're high vibrational, everything you touch will turn to gold. So this is for you. This is your message. This is your time to release your emotions before your emotions get the best of you. It can really get that serious. It can really get that serious, right? So come out, touch the grass. Okay, I'm grounding. I'm about to do some yoga. Go out to a park, touch grass. Go out for a walk. You know what I'm saying? Go out for a drive, listen to music, dance, move your hips. You know what I'm saying? Do a small workout. Even if you're working out for about 15 minutes a day, do that. Do that for yourself. Move your body. Do what you need to do for you, because at the end of the day, all you have is you. If everybody else leaves your life, all you got is you, and you want to be taking the very best care of yourself that you can, because at the end of the day, you are a blueprint, baby. You are on this video because you're doing things that other people can't even fathom, that other people don't even think of. Every time you say an idea, people are like, look at you crazy, because they would never think to do something as big or as crazy or as imaginative or as wonderful, you know what I'm saying, as you are doing. Before I moved out the country, people looked at me crazy. I didn't tell too many people too, because I already knew they were going to put their limiting doubts onto my dreams, onto what I wanted to do. And here it has been over a year and a half, and I'm out here chilling on a Monday at the park. People are on their way to work right now, and what am I doing? At the park, chilling. You know what I'm saying? 2 years ago, I was working 2 jobs. I was working more than I was ever at the house. You know what I'm saying? And now I rest. I eat fresh mangoes. You know what I'm saying? So I got on here to tell you that these last 2 weeks have been crazy. I have been resting a lot. These Ascension symptoms are very crazy. There's a lot of people going through them, but they were talking about 48 hours, and that seems like a dream, because these migraines were going on for 12 days. 12 long days, and whew, that's crazy. That's crazy. So the longer the Ascension symptoms, the greater the outcome. And I can't wait for you to be on this journey with me to see these outcomes. Comment below your Ascension symptoms. If you're here for future Ascension symptoms, if you want to know what the Ascension symptoms are. For everybody it is different, but I have heard a lot of similarities in these symptoms, especially going on right now. The new moon in Cancer is making us go into hermit mode, but you know, definitely listen to yourself if you are going out, if you need to go out. ask yourself, and just to let you know, you are a pendulum. And I'm going to show you in future videos how you can ask yourself and see the results immediately, right? On the answers for your intuition. Sometimes we have so much noise in our head that it is hard to see what the answer is, if it's us, if it's God, if it's our ego, if it's our lower self. So stay tuned. That video is coming because I feel like everybody needs that. Shout out to Michelle. She showed me this about a month and a half ago, and I've been using it ever since, almost daily. All right. But anyway, get outside, touch the grass. To my blueprints, you're here with your crew. You have found your tribe. I have found you. Let's get it. And remember, spread the love. Do you. And I love you.